Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the breakdown. Today I'm going to quickly show you guys how I edit photos, specifically car photos, in Adobe Lightroom. I'm also going to use a little bit of Photoshop here and there to take some pieces out. Nevertheless, let's go ahead and jump into the tutorial. I'm going to show you how to do something a little similar to this picture which I took a few weeks ago, except today I'm going to be using a picture that I took today. So let's go ahead and open up Lightroom, and I've already imported all of the pictures. This is the one that we're going to be working with. As you can see, there's something down here that we're going to take out really quick, and to do that we're just going to right click on the picture and we're going to open in Photoshop. So to do that, all you need to do, hover over edit in and then choose Photoshop. With this, it's going to say, do you want to edit a copy, edit the original, edit the copy with Lightroom adjustments. I'll just choose that one for now and click on edit. It's going to open up Photoshop and then the image is going to be there to edit. So once you're in Photoshop, I'm just going to quickly make a copy of this background layer by hitting Command J. I'm going to turn off the background layer and we're just going to work with this layer 1 right here. I'm going to hit M on my keyboard to select my marquee tool, and then I'm going to make a selection over the shadow. Hit Shift F5 on the keyboard and then fill it with Content Aware. Now I want to point out, Content Aware is not going to do perfect. As you can see, it's a little rough around the edges, but it's a lot more able to be worked with than what it was before. So we'll just go ahead and save this image, and then we'll close out of Photoshop and we can go back over to Lightroom. So we're back in Lightroom, and the first thing we're going to do is actually crop the image to make it look a little bit wider, to give it more of a theatrical effect. So to do that, we're just going to click on Develop. So once we're in the Develop window, we're just going to click on this, which is going to allow us to crop our image. I'm going to bring down the sky quite a bit. Not that much. Bring down the sky quite a bit to about there, and then I'm going to crop it up to get rid of some of that roughness from the Content Aware that we did previously. And then I'm going to make it a little smaller to make it look a little more, to make the car pop out quite a bit more. So as you can see, that pretty much got rid of the harshness of that Content Aware fill. But now what we can do is go ahead and straighten out the image. So to straighten out the image, just click on the crop overlay, and as you can see here we have the angle. I'll just go ahead and click on this ruler and drag out a straight line across the horizon here. And then it's going to straighten out the image just a little bit, nothing too ridiculous, but it's going to give it more of the straight effect that we're looking for. So now we'll just close out of that, and then what we can do is head into the graduated filter, click on this, and then we'll just drag something down from the top of the image all the way down to about where the clouds are. By the way, I do want to point out this image will be available for download, so you can test out what I'm doing on this image in your own Lightroom. But what we're going to do here is take the contrast down quite a bit. It was a little bit too much light up there. Play with the contrast. We're going to take that to about 3, and then we're going to take the highlights down a little bit, bring the shadows up a little bit. Then we're going to take the whites up to about 2 or 3, and darken the blacks to about 3. So now what I'm going to do is desaturate the image a little bit, dehaze the image, bring that up to about 5, and then we're going to leave clarity alone because we'll mess with that later. But now we can go ahead and close out of this window, and we can go into basic to start working with the image overall. To do that, I'm going to make it a little bit colder, take it down to probably -4. So I took it down to about -5, but nevertheless it's just about the same. We'll mess with the exposure a little bit. We'll take it up to about 0.15, increase the contrast a little bit, and then take the highlights down to about -15, the shadows up to about +13, increase the whites to about +6, blacks to about -5, clarity up to +20, and then we're going to turn the vibrance all the way up, well, not all the way up, but to about 50, and then desaturate the image to about -45. So we're going to tweak the vibrance here a little bit, take it down to about 42, and bring the saturation to about -42 as well. So the image is looking extremely vibrant but really desaturated, which is that look that we were going for. We're not quite done yet. We may come back to basic and tweak it a little bit more, but first we need to head into the hue, saturation, and luminance. So first thing I want to do actually is change the color of the blue. We're going to bring it down, or bring it up to about a +4. Take the saturation and move that down to about a -6. In fact, we'll do -8. That'll just make the image look a little more desaturated in the sky. Then we're going to come over to luminance and decrease the blue to about -10. And as you can see, the image is starting to look a little better than it was before. We can actually pull it up before and after. As you can see, this is an extremely saturated image. It looks like it was taken in the middle of summer, but actually we're looking at taking a picture in the middle of winter right now, or fall. So this image gives it more of a desaturated look. I'll just pull this back up so we can just focus on this main image. The next thing we're going to do is head into detail. We're going to sharpen the image to about, let's see how 42 looks. That looks okay. And then we'll reduce the noise by adding about 36 in luminance. We may bring the brightness or the sharpening up a little bit more, closer to 70. So we'll go with 66 and about 42. So 66 for the sharpening and 42 for the luminance and the noise reduction. Then we'll head down to lens correction. I always just turn on the enable profile corrections. In some pictures you'll see a huge change with that. In some pictures you won't see much of anything. That one was a tiny bit of a change. It just kind of makes the image look a little more realistic in what it actually is. We don't need to do anything in transform. And in effects we can just go ahead and take the vignette up to about, down to about -13. And we'll leave all of the other settings the same. So the next thing we'll do is head back up to the graduated filter, and then what we can do is just make a selection down here to where, as you can see, it just comes up to about the top of the front tire. From here what we'll do is take the exposure and take it down just a little bit more to about -1.11. Actually that's a bit too deep. We'll do -0.56. And this is going to put a little bit more of the focus of the picture on the actual car itself. So we can go ahead and close out of this and see how the image looks overall. So it's looking okay. I'm pretty happy with this image. There are a few little details that I can go in and correct. But as you can see, we have the before here, which is just extremely saturated and a bit overblown. And we have the after shot here, which has a darker sky. The clouds pop out a little bit more at you. They look a little bit more dramatic. And then we also have the car itself here. We also straightened the image out and darkened the image a little bit to give it more of a theatrical, dramatic effect. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this video on how to quickly edit a car photo. This was just my style with editing this particular photo. However, it changes from photo to photo. I'll put a few examples of some other work that I've done, not necessarily work, but some other pictures that I've taken and made adjustments to at the end of the video. Nevertheless, thanks for watching, and go ahead, do whatever you want with this image, and I look forward to seeing what you can do with it. You can tweet us your final product of the image by tweeting us at BreakdownDaily on Twitter. Go ahead and let us know what you do with the image. Anyway guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching.